So, Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, that we will hear now the two other reasons for Arjuna not to fight. So Arjuna is playing the role as a conditioned soul, but is under the influence of this Yoga Maya. So what's the difference between Yoga Maya and Mahamaya? Mahamaya is the bewildering of the conditioned soul by the material modes of nature. By the material modes of nature. That is Mahamaya. Ma means great illusion. We are all under the influence of Mahamaya. We will learn in Bhagavad Gita that we are a spirit soul, an antimatter in this body, a little spark, and that spark is a cause of consciousness. And when that consciousness is pure or spiritual, then we identify ourselves as a spiritual being. But if that consciousness is polluted by the material modes, by the material energy, and these are three modes we will learn: passion, ignorance, and goodness. If our consciousness is polluted by these modes, we start to identify as the body, and we think ourselves a human being, although we have nothing to do with the body. And that illusion is called Mahamaya. That's an illusory energy. But Yoga Maya is a spiritual energy, and it's a spiritual energy in which our consciousness, the consciousness of the spirit soul, is pure consciousness. In that pure consciousness, we identify with this body. We don't identify with this body, we identify as a spirit soul under Yoga Maya, as a servant of Krishna. But Yoga Maya, the difference is in Mahamaya, we think ourselves the only doer. That in Mahamaya, we have forgotten God. And we think ourselves the only doer in this world. We think that we are the enjoyer and everything depends on us. We are acting against the Isavasya principle that we have explained last week. But in the spiritual world, Yoga Maya works on different levels. You have the Vaikuntha worlds, and you have the Goloka Dham. That Krishna's param is higher abode. And there he brings all the residents of Vrindavan in the spiritual world under his Yoga Maya, his spiritual energy. He makes them forget that he is God, and they think Krishna is my friend. Krishna is my lover. Oh Krishna, Krishna is my son. This is more intense love, and Krishna likes that. And therefore he brings them under this Yoga Maya. And Arjuna here is a pure devotee, and he's also under this Yoga Maya. That should be understood. And Krishna uses this in various ways. So it's not bewildered like us, but Krishna forces him to his yoga maya to play the role. And that's a little particular. And why is that yoga maya? Because when you are a pure devotee, the illusory energy of this world cannot touch you. He was a pure devotee. It's not possible. I hope that clarifies. We have to understand these two energies. That these two energies are further explained in the Bhagavatam. And I spoke now about the general principle. But in the Bhagavatam, there are verses and verses speaking about this yoga maya and the nature and how it works. So I just gave an introduction to the subject that must be deeper explored. But I know for those who are familiar and in the movement for many years, they know the difference between yoga maya and maya. But if you don't know, then this action of Arjuna is difficult to understand. But now we have in chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, I must say chapter 1, because I was always thinking, the devotees think this first chapter is not so important, but it is an important chapter. That because Arjuna has his doubts, and these are also our doubts. And therefore, I worked hard on it to explain things more deeply. And I wrote this paper, which is a kind of handbook for the first chapter. Because there is no real handbook about it, that I used the expertise of other devotees who gave a lot of classes on this first chapter. But now the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that teaches us self-realization. It teaches us self-realization by analytical study. Analytical study of what is the body and what is spirit soul and what is the difference. And then Krishna explains this, but to get this realization, Krishna says, one must walk without attachment for the fruitive results. Because it is because of our attachment to the fruits in this world that we make karma and get bodies. And by that, our intelligence is overcome by lust, anger, and greed. And lust, anger, and greed means you are in the grip of this illusory energy. And you identify very strongly with the body. But by working with our attachment, we will hear. Of course, in the beginning of this section, 8 chapters, Krishna will start to chastise Arjuna. And he will use heavy words. Heavy words. He will call him impotent, Klaibian. You are a non-Aryan. An Aryan is one who knows the values of life. But Arjuna continues with his arguments. He says, yes, it is sinful to kill superiors, and certainly not your guru. But then finally he comes to the point that he's confused. And in his confusion, he surrenders to Krishna and accepts him as guru. And then the relationship with Arjuna changes. You wanted to say something? Okay. So text 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sanyaya Vacha Tam Tata Kipaya Vistam Ashupuna Collectionam Vishidantandinam Vakyam Vachama Sudana. Arjuna said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudan, Krishna spoke the following words. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, it's on the screen, Arjuna's lamentation for the bodies of his relatives were signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. So, this is Arjuna's compassion for the bodies of his relatives, his lamentation, his tears were all signs of ignorance for the real self. Like thus, we go from life to life. In every life, we have so-called relatives and attachments and so on. But we die and it's all gone. It's all temporary. That I always thinking that like this is about, let's say 50 years ago. I was 8 years old. I was living in a little village around Brussels. There was a church. Every resident of the parents of the parish, there were about 3,000 in the village. They went all practically to church every Sunday, and it was a Flemish culture. Everyone spoke Flemish. Flemish culture is close to German, very close, very close. Yes, now we are 50 years later. When I go there, nobody speaks Flemish anymore. Everyone speaks French. The church, nobody goes there anymore. All the people I knew when I was a young boy, that nobody knows me anymore. All the buildings have changed. All the problems that we had at that time are not there anymore. Sometimes I think, did it really happen? It looks like a dream. And it's a dream. That it's all gone. That all relationships have returned. That's just in this lifetime. But we see over many lifetimes. And Arjuna is concerned for their bodies. Bhishmadev is not going to die when he doesn't kill him. No, he will also die. That is what Krishna says. One who takes birth will die, for sure. And one who dies, Krishna says, will take birth. That is Krishna's words. But compassion for the eternal soul. Why are we undergoing this taking birth, death, old age, and disease? Compassion of the soul is self-realization. Get out of it. And to get out of it, you must develop compassion. Compassion for yourself. Yourself means the soul. We have heard in Shir Upanishad, don't become an Atmaha, a killer of the soul. The soul cannot be killed, but It is like killing the soul. You will lose the consciousness of the soul. We identify with the body. I will read the purport. Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance for the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudan is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu. And now Arjuna wanted to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in his discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man falling into the ocean of nations cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for outward dress is called a Sudra. For one who laments unnecessarily, Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and his conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul as explained by the Supreme Authority, Lord Shri Krishna. The realization is possible when one works without attachment to the results and is situated in the fixed conception of the real self. So yes, suggestion. So we may remember Arjuna's, what was his first reason for not fighting? Compassion. We are speaking here about compassion. Compassion. Yeah. So the compassion was misapplied. Why was it misapplied?
It was directed towards the body.
And not the soul. Yeah. Okay. We must be compassionate with the soul. And also with the body. That's all right. But first the soul, because that's the person. That's the consciousness. Okay. Text 2. Shri Bhagavana Vacha Kustastva Malamidam Pishama Samupastitam Anayajustam Ashvaryam Akirtikam Arjuna. Supreme Personality of God that said, my dear Arjuna, now have these impurities come upon you. They are not after all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. So Krishna was not thinking, oh, Arjuna is such a nice person. He likes to be non-violent. What a good person. No. He was very heavy. That he says, Kasmalam, these dirty things in your heart, where is this coming from? That he says you are an Anarya, not an Aryan. An Aryan is one who knows the values of life. An Aryan is one who knows his duty. An Aryan knows he's not a body. He's a spirit soul. So yes, Aryans are persons who know the aim of life is to get liberation. And attain the devotional service of Krishna. That's a real liberation. So they had a civilization based on spiritual realization. And that civilization is called Varnashram. That 4 Varnas and ashrams. That and everyone was engaged in his prescribed duties with the aim of purifying the heart and make spiritual advancement to 4 stages of spiritual life. Brahmachari, student, then householder, Shriyasta, Vanaprastha, retiring from household life, and then sannyas, that renounced, that so in the purport, Krishna speaks about the word Aryan. The word Aryan is applicable to persons who know the value of life and have a civilization based on spiritual realization. Persons who are led by the material conception of life do not know that the aim of life is realization of the absolute truth, Vishnu or Bhagavan, and they are captivated by the external feature of the material world, and therefore they do not know what liberation is. Persons who have no knowledge of liberation from material bondage are called non-Aryans. Although Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was deviating from his prescribed duties by declining to fight. This act of cowardice is described as befitting the non-Aryans. Such deviation from duty does not help one in the progress of spiritual life, nor does it even give one the opportunity to become famous in this world. Krishna does not approve the so-called compassion of Arjuna. So he says, this does not lead to the higher planets, but to infamy. So Krishna, Arjuna said, Nimitani before. Nothing can come good from this, he said. And Viparitani, I will get the opposite I desire. But Krishna says, if you are not fight, you will not go to the higher planets, you will get infamy. Now, text 3. Krishna continues. Klaibyamas varma parta naitatvat upapachate ksudram hridaya darbalyam fakfotisya prantapa. The son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. So Arjuna was addressed as the son of Pritha, who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father, Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna had a blood relationship with Krishna. If the son of a Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in name only. And if the son of a Brahmin acts impiously, he is a Brahmin in name only. Let's down further. Therefore, so-called violence should be given up by persons like Arjuna under the direct guidance of Krishna. That he should do his duty. That Arjuna wanted to be non-violent. He wanted to be non-violent on grounds of magnanimity, compassion for respectable superiors and for relatives. But these respectable superiors and relatives had lost their respectability. They were aggressors. They were responsible for all these 6 aggressions we heard before. So they were not free from improper behavior, that they transgressed all the laws of Manu. That so even by the laws of Manu, which were the laws in the Vedic time, that according to the laws of Manu, one had to be punished. Had to be punished. That so they were criminals, but Krishna thinks they are still respectable. That so Krishna says you consider them worthy of respect, but this is weakness of heart, hridaya, darbalyam, indicating your impotency of a kshatriya. You remember the example I gave of the police inspector who does not want to arrest a thief because he sees the consequences. No, he had to. No point text 4. Yes.
When I can ask now, what is the difference between the weakness of the heart mentioned here and soft-heartedness, as mentioned in the purport of the last verse of the first chapter?
His soft-heartedness was from perspective of him being a pure devotee of Krishna. A devotee cannot see the suffering of others. But at the same time, it was a weakness of heart. By Yoga Maya, he was influenced by Krishna to say these things. But by Yoga Maya, he was declining to fight. That because of the so-called respectability of the superiors. It is not a reason. Even from the mundane aspect, even on the mundane level, they were criminals. And he had to punish them. This weakness of heart. So the police officer who does not want to arrest this thief because it's the son of a relative, and he thinks of the pain of his mother and so on. This weakness of heart. He must do his duty and arrest the thief. That clear? Okay. That text 4. Arjuna Vatsa Katam Bhishma Mamsam Kedronam Samudusudana Vishubhi Parishot Sami Pujaraf Arisudana. Arjuna said, O killer of the enemies, O killer of Mali, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? That in the purport. Respectable superiors like Bhishma, the grandfather, and Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counterattacked. If it is general etiquette that superiors are not to be offered even a verbal fight, even if they are sometimes harsh, they should not be harshly treated. Then how is it possible for Arjuna to counterattack them? Would Krishna attack his own grandfather Ugrasena or his teacher Sanipani Muni? These were some of the arguments offered by Arjuna to Krishna. That Krishna Prabhupada explains in the next purport. I read that. So Arjuna argues here, according to etiquette, one should not fight with worshipable superiors. It's fifth reason. So, how it is possible that for him to fight them in the battle? Krishna would never attack his own grandfather or teachers. So how can he expect Arjuna to do so? That was his argument. Now in the next verse, we have a different Sanskrit meter because there are more syllables in each verse. Text 5. Kyo nahatva imahanubhavam shreyo bhuktam bhakshamapi aloke atvartakamans guruniyaiva bunchiya bhukan udira pradishtan. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything will be enjoyed, will be tainted with blood. So, purport. According to scriptural codes, a teacher who engages in an abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Bhishma and Drona were obliged to take the side of Duryodhana because of his financial assistance. He wasn't maintaining them. Although they should not have accepted such positions simply on financial considerations. Under the circumstances, they have lost the respectability of teachers. But Arjuna thinks that nevertheless they remain his superiors, and therefore to enjoy material profits after killing them would mean enjoy spoils tainted with blood. They lost their respectability. That's Prabhupada tells us here that text 6. Nasheda vitma kataro nugario yavachayema yadipan uchayo yane bahatva nachichi fishamas devashtita pramukhe dakhtarashtra. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So it seems Arjuna is confused. Text 6. Arjuna was undecided. That is sixth reason, undecision. He cannot decide. Arjuna cannot decide whether he should fight or not. So that shows that Arjuna, he was considering the points very deeply. So that's also proves, Srila Prabhupada said, that he was a great devotee, but he was not only a great devotee, but he had complete control over his mind and senses. Otherwise, you cannot do that. It's a bewildering situation. You are at the battlefield, you have to fight. But he had control over his mind and senses. He was making these considerations. And that proves that. Therefore, Arjuna was fit for liberation, Srila Prabhupada, because he had full control over his mind and senses. So this is the argument for not fighting is indecision. That, so 7. Now, kapanya dosa pata svabhava pichami tvam dharma samudashita. Now, shreya shanishatam buitam esisyastyam sadimatvam papam. Now I'm confused about my duty and I've lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I'm your disciple and a surrendered soul unto you. Please instruct me. So Arjuna could understand. Yes. His affection for his family members was causing us in perplexity, difficulty. And because of this miserly weakness, he could not discharge, he could not do his duty of fighting. He understood that. So in the first paragraph, by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. So in every step, there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literature advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is as such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but approach a spiritual master. This is the purpose of this verse. Of course, one must know what's a bona fide spiritual master. A bona fide spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada said, is in the disciplic succession. And he repeats Krishna's words. He's like a postman. A postman delivers the letter as it is. He repeats Krishna's words. Krishna says that surrender unto me. And the spiritual master said, surrender unto Krishna. They say the same thing. That, but anyway, spiritual master has learned from his spiritual master who has self-realized and explains Krishna's words in such terms that the disciple can understand how he can liberate himself. That is so then the third paragraph, the kripanas or miserly persons waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members on the basis of skin disease. The kripana thinks that is able to, a kripana is small-minded or the opposite of broad-minded, small-minded. The kripana thinks that he's able to protect his family members from death, or the kripana thinks that his society, if family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals, who take care of children also. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still on account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge his duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between the master and the disciple are serious, and Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. So Arjuna offers himself as a disciple to Krishna. That he understands I cannot solve my own problems. And Krishna is the original spiritual master, and he will speak now the science of Bhagavad Gita, spiritual knowledge, and that will bring Arjuna out of his confusion. These 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita were spoken in less than an hour. In 1 hour he understood completely. So he was already self-realized, of course. He was very qualified. So he's asking Krishna, you solve now the problems. I cannot do it. But in this world, everyone has perplexities, difficulties. There is no one without difficulties. Therefore, everyone must approach a spiritual master in the disciplic succession, Srila Prabhupada writes. In the disciplic succession from Krishna, coming from Krishna. And then one can solve the perplexities of life and understand the science of the solution. Text 8. Nahi papasami nama panuyat yasho kamocho shanamindriyam. Avapya bhuma asapatmam vedam rajam shuranam apisadhipatyam. I find no means to drive away the grief which is drying my senses. I'm not able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So this, I forgot the slides. So that is his argument about the etiquette. We cannot kill teachers. Is undecided. That is fifth reason for not fighting. The etiquette is an objection, not really a reason as such. So, perplexity, he doesn't know what to do and how to get out of it. And now he's accepting Krishna as Guru. And now Krishna will start instructing him in that. So although Arjuna was putting forward many arguments based on religion, morality, still he could not solve his problem by all these things. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, economic development, that cannot counteract the problems of material existence. Only a bona fide spiritual master who knows the science of Krishna consciousness can give a permanent solution to the problems of life. Such a guru should be accepted regardless of his social position. Yes? Yeah. Regardless of one's social position. So it doesn't matter what your social position is. you should accept the spiritual master. In the Vedic system, only the Brahmins were accepting a spiritual master. But no, everyone should accept a spiritual master. In the Vedic system, you had to be qualified to become accepted as a disciple, because you had to be from Brahmin descent. You had that. Anyway, that is the Vedic system. But regardless of social position, one should accept the spiritual master and become qualified to become a Brahmin. By accepting a spiritual master, you become qualified to become a Brahmin. If we follow the four regulative principles, we become qualified to become a Brahmin. That gradually, that's the point. Yeah. Regardless of social position. Then that is 9. Sanjay speaks again. Sanjaya Vacha. Eva Nuktam Rishikesham Gudakesha Parantapa Nayotsyai Govindam Uksva Tushnim Prabhuvava. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna chastised of enemies. Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight. And he fell silent. That, Now, in text 10, the last one. Tam uvacha Grishikesha prahasam iva bharatam. Sanya ubayormatye vishidantam idam vacha. O descendant of Bharata, at that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of the both armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. So the talks as friend are finished. Krishna takes the superior role of the spiritual master, and he will start with chastising his new disciple. But he smiles. He says, Prahasam, he smiles because a good friend is taking shelter of him. Someone has taken shelter of him. But, yes. Well, any questions? Otherwise, if you don't have questions, I will ask questions. So we see here, compassion, we know it's a real virtue, it's a good quality. But Krishna rejects his compassion for his relatives. Why? Yeah. That's the essence, yes. That it's misplaced compassion. That, yes, that, that's an essential point. That, yes. Decoration of a dead body. Yeah, that the body is, all bodies are by definition that the life is a soul in the body. That, yeah, also in relationships with others. Spiritual relationships mean recognizing that someone else is a spirit soul. That therefore, this is an unusual circumstances, but in normal life, that leads to non-violence. If you know, I have this body, it hurts me so much if I just injure my fingers. You don't want to kill an animal or be responsible for animal killing. No. That you don't even want to kill an ant. That is the compassion of a devotee. But of course, when Krishna wants us to fight, then we have to fight. We have all to fight, not with the body, but we are fighting with so many circumstances in our life. And that is the fight that we have to do. That to purify our heart, the fight to purify the heart. Because as long as the heart is contaminated with lust, anger, greed, and so on, we identify with the body and we suffer. But the first lesson is recognizing that the soul is eternal. Nobody dies, really. They change bodies. And the second lesson Krishna will give us, that you are eternal, but you have to tolerate the body and all these changes in the mind. That you do your duty. Your duty, what is the duty of the spirit soul? The other part, the parcel of Krishna is to serve the whole, to serve Krishna. And that's our duty, is devotional service. That's the highest duty of humanity. Savaipum sapodamo yato bhakti adoption. And that gives happiness. Happiness and feelings of love. If we give our love to Krishna, we become satisfied. Bhakti Bhagavad Gita is about how to develop pure spiritual love. And this is the beginning of the teachings. And only that pure spiritual love will make us satisfied. Good. Anything else? And we stop here, and tomorrow we start really the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. They will really start tomorrow. This was the introduction. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.